Again, would you bless this group and their decisions and this evening and our community? In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Would everyone please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so we have a couple of proclamations tonight. The first is the Fair Housing Month, and that proclamation. Whereas the Congress of the United States passed the Civil Rights Act of 1968, of which Title VIII declared that the law of the land would now guarantee the rights of equal housing opportunity. And whereas the City of El Dorado is committed to the mission and intent of Congress to provide fair and equal housing opportunities for all, and today many realty companies and associations support fair housing laws. And whereas the fair housing groups and the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development have, over the years, received thousands of complaints of alleged illegal housing discrimination and found too many that have proved upon investigation to be violations of the fair housing laws. And whereas equal housing opportunity is a condition of life in our city that can and should be achieved, I, Mayor Bill Young, Mayor of the City of El Dorado, Kansas, do hereby proclaim the month of April as Fair Housing Month and express the hope that this year's observance will promote fair housing practices throughout the city, dated this 15th day of April 2024. Then we have a proclamation for the National Day of Prayer, if I can get it to open up here. Maybe. Whereas many of our citizens turn to prayer to seek guidance, bolster faith, and boost spirits in times of struggle and strife, and whereas the United States Congress, by Public Law 100-307, as amended, has called on the President to issue each year a proclamation designating the first Thursday in May as a National Day of Prayer, and whereas each citizen may recognize this day in accordance with their own faith or practice, now, therefore, I, Bill Young, Mayor of the City of El Dorado, do hereby recognize May 2nd, 2024, as the National Day of Prayer. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the official seal of the City of El Dorado, Kansas, to be affixed this 15th day of April, 2024. So that is Thursday, May 2nd. Okay. We'll move on to personal appearances. Personal appearances are opportunities for organizations or citizens to make special presentations before the City Commission. Such appearances are scheduled in advance of the meeting by calling City Clerk Emerald Ashlock at 316-321-9100 by 5 o'clock p.m. the Tuesday preceding the meeting. Presentations are limited to 10 minutes. And any presentations for information purposes only, and no action will be taken. And we have a couple of personal appearances tonight, and the first will be El Dorado Inc., because they are going to present their first quarter report to us.
Good evening. Thank you for taking the time to hear an update on economic development activities this past quarter. Over the past 3 months, we've continued to work on our proactive outreach and marketing efforts to recruit industrial companies, and we've also responded to 8 different requests for proposals on our sites. These projects have ranged from manufacturing, EV battery companies, solar panel producers, and bio-oil processors. They're all the way from a 10-acre project to a 150-plus acre project. A lot of these have been heavy water and power users. Some have been on the low end of that as well. We also have one semi-local project that we are working directly with the company itself on helping them find a location here in El Dorado. There have been 2 new residential starts in the first quarter of the year, and then there's also been 11 commercial permits issued with a value of $4.7 million, which in comparison in all of 2023, we had $4.5 million in total commercial permits. So that large project making that up is the VG Products pending addition to their kitting facility. They're expanding due to increased business, which is great to hear. The estimated cost of that facility is about $5 million. with a total exceeding that by a lot in new equipment that will be brought into not only that facility, but all of their El Dorado facilities. And I'm sure more information will be coming on that as they finalize their expansion costs. Our Develop El Dorado campaign continues with monthly email blasts going out to our 1,500 plus contacts made up of site selectors and identified potential companies for us to recruit. Our open rates are great, averaging around 44%. I also continue to be involved in site selector conferences and have another event coming up in June. And it's the largest foreign direct investment event in the United States. It's called Select USA. I attend this with the Kansas Department of Commerce, and we actually set up meetings with companies that are looking to invest in the United States. And we're planning to try out geofence marketing at the event, which draws over 5,000 people from all over the world. The certification of our industrial sites is nearing completion. 2 of our main industrial sites have been submitted: the city parcels on the west side of I-35 and the CIC industrial site. So that's a total of about 600 acres that will be certified soon. And then we have 1 pending submission, the Grizzly LLC acreage, which is another about 400 acres. Other things to note, this past quarter, at Inc., we recognize the importance of a skilled workforce pipeline. So we are partnering with the Workforce Alliance to work on creating additional pathways for Butler County high schoolers to enter the workforce through internships and apprenticeships. And then we continue to partner with the city, as we always do, in the creation of an RHID policy, and we're working to help with an economic development transparency website similar to the one that the state of Kansas uses. As you are aware, the Kansas One-Shot Turkey Hunt is coming up later this week, and I have served on that advisory committee, and we hope to attract potential company executives to participate in that in coming years. So that's exciting. The Business Office Park has had some interest as of late. We've had a couple different parties interested in maybe developing there, so that's great. And then last but not least, I provided you with our 2023 scorecard, as we call it, if you haven't already seen that. And again, thank you for your time and support of El Dorado Inc. And if you have any questions, feel free, or reach out to me anytime with questions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next for personal appearances, we have the El Dorado Municipal Band.
Good evening. I'm Marlene Avery, 219 Hillcrest in El Dorado. I'm currently the president of the El Dorado Municipal Band, and I just wanted to touch some of our points for the year. This is our 102nd consecutive season. I just can't even put my head around that. It's just amazing. So I really thank the city for supporting us. Without you all, we couldn't be here. We wouldn't be an entity. Our board this year is, I'm president. Our vice president is Anita Sibley. Our secretary is Sandy Derry. Our treasurer is Barbara Templin. We have 3 at-large members who are Kelly Davidson, Cherokee Manning, and Juana Kelly. Our directors for this year are John Templin, who has done this. This is his 32nd year of doing that. I can't, I haven't even been in the band that long. Brett Martinez and Kelly Middleton. Our concerts we generally rehearse them on Tuesdays. We do have one Thursday practice, but our first practice is the 23rd of May at 7:30, and we're at the Butler Community College Fine Arts Building, the 700 building. If anyone would like to come and join us, we're wind and percussion. Just show up. As long as you have completed 8th grade, come out and join us. It's a lot of fun. We have a good time and really enjoy being able to perform. Our concerts this year, I wanted to especially tell you about this one. I haven't put this on our Facebook, we haven't put it on our Google page, but the July 18th concert, we will be at the Butler Community College in the Fine Arts Building Auditorium, where we will be playing with the 35th Infantry Band. We have that every so often, and that is so much fun. They are just phenomenal band, and we actually get to play 2 songs with them. So we will play a concert, and then they will play a concert as well. So it'll be a great time to come out. All of our concerts are, of course, free to the public. Our Rain Out program is at Butler Community College at the auditorium. Other than that, we're at Forest Park at 9th and Taylor. I want to invite everyone out. Our concerts start on the 30th of May. They start at 7:30. We have the 30th of May, June 6th and 13th, and then the 14th, of course, is Flag Day, where we will be as well. And then the rest of them are on Thursdays, which is June 20th, which is our ice cream social, our memorial concert. And it's kind of fun to hear the stories about some of the members who have passed that were with us for so long. The June 27th, and then we go into July on the 3rd. The 11th is our bake sale. Both our ice cream social and our bake sale are free will donations, and all of the funds go to a music scholarship at the college. And then the 18th will be at the auditorium at Butler for the 35th Infantry Band. And then we'll finish up on the 25th of July. So it's a great time. I really appreciate the support again. I don't, after high school, there isn't a whole lot, or high school and college, there isn't a whole lot of opportunities for being in a band and for adults to continue that skill. And so I really appreciate this opportunity. Do y'all have any questions or comments or?
I would say I'll speak for myself. I really appreciate what you guys do. Having grown up in that neighborhood, it's my whole life in El Dorado. It's always been a great experience to get to come down and be a part of that and just listen to great music and see great people, and it's part of the community. So 102 years and going, but it has an impact. Just so you guys know as well, we support it because we know that it impacts our community in a very positive way. So I appreciate what you guys do, and I appreciate y'all keeping it going.
Thank you. It's our pleasure.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. It looks like that's it for personal appearances. We'll move on to public comments. Persons who wish to address the City Commission regarding items not on the agenda that are under the jurisdiction of the City Commission may do so when called upon. Comments on personnel matters and matters pending in court are not permitted. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes, and any presentations for information purposes only, and no action will be taken. Is there anyone here who would like to make public comment? Okay. We'll move on to the consent agenda. On tonight's consent agenda, we're considering the approval of City Commission meeting minutes from April 1st, 2024, approval of the 2024 El Dorado Municipal Band Agreement, and approval of the appropriation ordinance number 03-24 in the amount of $1,007,000. That number's. So what?
Interesting.
So what's the amount, Tabitha? Do you know? Because that number's not right.
Oh, yeah, I can't tell.
Yeah.
764,000.
700.
I bet the comma's just maybe wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't come out, does it?
Yeah.
It's $1,176,466.32.
$1,176,466.32. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move we approve the consent agenda.
As corrected.
As corrected. Yes.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We don't have anything in old business, so we'll move on to agenda item number 13, Project 612, Sanitary Sewer 1000 block of West Locust.
Mayor, this is the opportunity for the public hearing for this project.
Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry, I was clicking, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Just to introduce real quick, this is the opportunity for the public hearing on Project 612, which was the extension of a city sewer main and the subsequent connections of service laterals to that new main in 1,000 block of West Locust.
Okay. I'm going to open the public hearing for Project 612 sanitary sewer 1,000 block of West Locust. Is there anybody here who would like to speak?
I have a question.
Come on up to the microphone, please.
I got what the answer's gonna be, but we live at 428 South Summit. When they did that, the sewer work, we actually had no work done on our property. So I was just wondering if we're still assessed the amount that you indicated. That's a little scary for retired fixed income.
So,
You should have had a connection to the new sewer. main.
Yeah, we are connected, but it's over on the other property just to the east of us.
Right, and then a sewer main was extended down the center of
Right.
Locust. And the reason that was is all of those properties were tied into what we call a community sewer line that went
Right.
out through backyards and under garages. So whenever sewer main's extended, there is a special assessment district set up, an improvement district set up for that cost of that sewer main.
I understand that. And obviously, we need sewer, but
Yeah.
we are on Summit, and we had no work done on our property, so I didn't know if that would affect our assessment.
Yeah, you are connected to the new sewer main now.
By grandfathered in, yeah, we had no new lines laid.
But you're connected to the new city sewer main that was run up Locust.
Yeah, I think we are. Which is a good thing, so.
yeah, so we've got some of those community sewer collectors that engineering department and public utilities, I mean, we've got to go through and get those corrected, and that's what this was, one of those projects.
Downstream from you, it had become quite a health and safety issue with that community service line. 2 homes to the east of you. And so it came to a point where it was an emergency, that the city had to extend the main, which we did not have a sewer main serving that whole block. So we created the project, extended the sewer main. There's few of the houses that had services tied into the main as part of the work. And then the gentleman on the corner of Locust, the very east home, was able to connect to a different main. There was 3 properties that had to connect to this new main.
Okay. So, I didn't get a definitive answer, but I assume it's,
It's part of the cost of extending the public infrastructure, which is the sewer main, to serve your property.
okay. So is that, what's that gonna amount to as far as increasing our taxes? I assume it's gonna be taken out.
So on that letter you received about the public hearing, it has the cost on there.
Yeah, at 10 grand, but I mean, is that going to be,
So that whole number will be split as an assessment over 20 years,
okay,
as a special assessment on the
20 years.
property.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I just wasn't following where the question was going. Yeah, it's a 20-year assessment.
yeah, I'm sorry if I misled you. in
No,
any
no,
way.
no, no,
I was
not
just-
at all,
I was just
not at
curious, because when it came in, we have no new sewer line at all, and our old sewer line is running downhill, and it's attached to, apparently they ran a lateral out and attached to the main.
To the
So,
main.
Yeah. But as far as any sewer work done on our property, it wasn't.
Specific. Sure.
So I was just, I guess that answers my question.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any other questions on this public hearing for Project 612? Okay, I'm going to close that public hearing. And we're going to move to the next agenda item.
Well, there's another one.
Nope.
Isn't it that project
Yeah,
replacement?
there's another.
Yeah, another one for Project 613, concrete replacement at 119 West Ash. That too is a public hearing, but can you give us a summary on that,
Yep,
Scott?
it is sidewalk, curb and gutter driveway replacement in that 100 block of West Ash, the former home lumber building. There's some remodeling going on there. So that project is, that property owner had the ability to petition the commission. That petition was brought before you, creating the project. It's complete, and now we're considering later on in the agenda tonight to spread those assessments.
So I'm going to open that public hearing for project 613, concrete replacement at 119 West Ash. Is there any questions or comment about that project? Seeing that there are none, we'll close the public hearing for project 613, and we will move on to new business. Agenda item number 15, consideration of an ordinance levying special assessments on certain property to pay the cost of internal improvements in the city of El Dorado, Kansas, as previously authorized by resolution numbers 2960 and 2961 of the city, and providing for the collection of such special assessments. Do I have a motion?
Previously two discussed projects.
This is for project 612 and 613.
You ready for a motion?
I am, sir.
I move to approve an ordinance levying special assessments on certain property to pay the cost of internal improvements in the city of El Dorado, Kansas, as previously authorized by resolutions number 2960 and 2961, if the city, and providing for the collection of such special assessments.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion is second. Any discussion or questions from the board? Seeing that there are none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 16, consideration of the request to rezone 200 North Star Street from R3 multiple family dwelling to district to C2 Central Business District.
Yes, we had an application for this rezoning. The current structure on the property is a former dentist office with an underlying R3 multifamily zoning district on it. Planning Commission held a public hearing to consider this on March 28th, and they voted to recommend approval to the City Commission to go to C2 Central Business District. The structure itself, as it sets today, C2 fits the best. It's within that buffer region of our C2, which C2 is our downtown zoning district. So what you're able to accomplish with C2 zoning is reduce setbacks, not as stringent parking requirements, if any at all needed, things of that nature. And the applicant wishes to use the structure itself, but use it for a different purpose than what it's constructed for. It's kind of outside of this conversation, but just to let you know. So staff feels C2 is appropriate.
Do I have a motion?
I move to approve an ordinance for case number 24-04 REZ requesting rezoning of 200 North Star to C2 Central Business District.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion or questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 17, consideration of an agreement for the Safe Street and Roads for All grant from the Federal Highway Administration and the agreement for the pilot grant from the Kansas Department of Transportation.
So long subject line there, but what we're hoping staff is looking to, for the commission to consider this evening is the City of El Dorado was awarded a Safe Streets and Roads for All grant from the Federal Highway Administration to do a road safety audit, look at our entire transportation network, kind of key in on some safety things that we may need to have happen. The way this program's funded is you do an action plan first, so that's what we got grants awarded. And then once that action plan's complete, then the city can apply for implementation grants, which implementation grants are funds to help us build projects or improve things that we find in our action plan. In your packet tonight, we have from the Federal Highway Administration a draft of an agreement. They haven't completed that process to get us a complete document in hand. Federal Highway Administration is just looking for the appropriate official to sign. So in your motion before you tonight, we're asking you to consider authorizing the city manager to sign that agreement once we get a final agreement in hand. As well in your packet, you have KDOT's, an agreement with KDOT's. The city of El Dorado was also fortunate to get a pilot grant. KDOT was offered up to municipalities, and that is to match a portion of the city's match. In your breakdown in the fiscal impact, when we applied for the federal highway grant, we estimated the total project cost of $200,000. Federal Highway Administration has awarded us $160,000. KDOT will pay $30,000, which leaves a $10,000 for the city of El Dorado to be responsible for. You have the full agreement in front of you tonight from KDOT. So in your motion, we're asking you to consider authorizing the mayor to sign that agreement.
I have a question. Do you want to wait till after the motion? Because it's kind of about the wording in the motion is mine.
Go ahead.
Well, the one before says, authorize the mayor and then the city manager to execute an agreement. And then the one in the commission action says move to authorize the mayor to execute.
And then the third line down, it
Shows-
also
okay.
authorizes the city manager.
That makes sense.
So like the mayor has to sign this, the Kansas Department of Transportation, and the
Right.
city manager, the federal.
Yeah, that makes sense. Since we grouped them.
I thought the same thing, Kelly, when I took a look at it first. Because he said, we need the city manager to sign.
Well,
I
that's-
read the first line and said, well, it's the mayor.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
And the reason you have these two before you tonight, KDOT's anxious to get going. Federal Highway Administration's been a little slower. I had a Teams meeting with them a week and a half ago, and they said expect the agreement at any time. And just with the cycles of agendas and prepping for them, we felt it appropriate tonight just go ahead and include that with the KDOT agreement, just so that we can proceed once we get that agreement.
You ready for a motion?
I am.
I move to authorize the mayor to execute agreement number 788-23 between the city of El Dorado and the Kansas Department of Transportation for and on behalf of the city, and authorize the city manager to execute an agreement and related documents between the city of El Dorado and the Federal Highway Administration.
Second.
Motion is second. Y'all have any further questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 18, consideration of a bid and contract award of $225,833 from APAC Kansas, Inc. for the resurfacing of Walnut River Sports Complex parking lot.
Yes, this project was recently accepted by the city commission from a recommendation of the excess sales tax committee to resurface the entire parking lot at the Walnut River Sports Complex. So the Lake Diamonds where soccer's played, flag football, as well as adding additional parking and then adding sidewalks to connect the two parking lots together. The way they're configured, the original sidewalk, or the original
what we awarded from the excess sales tax committee more than covers this project with some money left over, so maybe the police department gets their second drone after all. We'll see. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 19, consideration of an ordinance amending Title VI of the City of El Dorado, Kansas Municipal Code pertaining to permitted foul. Somebody jump in.
Sorry, we didn't talk about that beforehand. We were approached here at a commission meeting a couple of months ago regarding the allowance of quail in the city of El Dorado. And so the commission had directed us to write an ordinance allowing such, and we've done so. My tablet is not bringing the staff report up very quickly, but we will be allowing 12, yes, thank you, 12 per residence, and then other than the number, everything else will follow the code pertaining to permitted fowl. And so they have to be in an enclosure that allows them space to move, but not walk in their feces and such. They have to have access to food and water, fresh air, that kind of thing. And they can't be closer than 50 feet to any other residence that's not the owner. So, be a little ways away from their neighbors. And other than that, I think that was all we put in there. So, yeah, if you have any questions, let me know.
I'll take this one.
Go for it.
Thank you. I move to approve an ordinance amending Title VI of the City of El Dorado, Kansas Municipal Code pertaining to permitted fowl.
I'll second that.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? I would like to point out we had a citizen approach us with a concern, as the background says, back in March. Staff did a great job putting this together. The commission was supportive of moving forward with a solution. And so we appreciate the input from our citizens to help us understand some of these needs, and this is a great result, I think. So I appreciate the work that the staff has done to get this to us, and then, of course, the commission for advocating also to have this done. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. That's it for new business. There's nothing under discussion items, so we'll move on to City Commission Advisory Board updates. And we'll start with you, Commissioner Wilkinson.
I have nothing to report.
Okay, Commissioner Leach.
The El Dorado Committee met last Thursday, wasn't it, Tabitha?
That's Wednesday.
Was it
No,
Wednesday?
Tuesday.
Tuesday? We met.
Last week.
Okay.
Yeah, that on it.
We have slept. There's a lot going on, especially with the City Gold Festival that's coming up, and I haven't heard, has she heard back yet on her efforts to what they were talking about doing with the college on the festival for location?
She did present to EFABC last Wednesday, correct? Yes. And so they have been made aware that we would like to host there. The athletic department, several members from there, and then other members from other divisions of the college will be meeting with Kate and I this Friday to further discuss what we know will be some obstacles, but hoping we can overcome them so we can hold a festival that has lots of attendance after the football game.
That'd be great.
That was the major item we had.
Okay. Mr. Scribner.
Don't have anything.
Commissioner Tetra.
I also have nothing.
So the FABC has met quite a few times recently. We met last Wednesday morning. We've got the bids back the FABC got the bids back for the turf. There was conversation and got 3 bids back. The EFABC made a recommendation as to, or picked a vendor, picked a turf provider. And then David and the other administrators are working through some of the financing pieces of it, and we'll be bringing that back to each of the respective boards before, I think the college board is the latest one that meets, which will be May 14th. The goal to have all this wrapped up and playable by August would be for the vendor to break ground and get working on it right after commencement, the college commencement ceremonies, so mid-May, and then work on it through the summer. We talked through the city bonding, the city being the financing kind of arm for this, with it being paid for through donations and some other things. But David's going to bring us back some details after his meeting with the administrators group. It's going to be a great project and needed for anyone that wants to use that. One kind of positive from this is through conversations with the company that was selected, actually with all the companies, we kind of had this conversation, but certainly firmed it up with the company that was selected to do the work. The warranty, service plan, everything on the turf is conducive to having events there other than football or soccer, meaning we could potentially host concerts there or other events that are not necessarily directly football or soccer, which are what's played on the turf. That was a concern for a lot of years with the old turf and the warranty with the old turf company. This is a new company, and they are, I think, more than receptive to it. They've offered their designer and engineering help. If for instance the city wants to do a project out there, they'll just have somebody on the phone with the city to help them design it out and get it engineered up right so that it works. So it does open up some more possibilities at the stadium that we didn't have in the past. And then, of course, for those of you in attendance that have questions about it, the big driver for replacing the turf obviously had to do with age, but the turf itself and the track both had kind of certainly surpassed their peak performance, and the turf was playing slick enough that there were more injuries at USD 490 and also at the college for those people playing on it, and the track had some foundation problems, which will all be remediated through this process. We're kind of excited about that piece of it. Lots of generous donations to the FABC has helped get us to this point. So we're hopefully we'll be bringing back to this board the first meeting in May all the rest of the details and get it all knocked out. So it's been a very good, robust conversation amongst the FABC board members. So I appreciate the work that the administrators have done in helping to round all that up. So that's my FABC piece, I think. City manager's update.
We received bids for the Central Avenue Improvement Project. Those bids came in higher than we anticipated. The original estimate for the project was $4.39 million. The bids from NOAC, the low bid, I guess the only bid, came from NOAC Construction, and that bid came in at $6.5 million. Quite a bit higher than obviously we anticipated. So we are in the process of formulating a finance plan to bring that back before you accept the bid. Obviously, this is one of the projects that was submitted for base grant funding. So part of the $3 million that has been allocated for base grants, or for the base grant, has to be allocated to this project. And so we definitely want to figure out a way to make the project work, because we don't want to have to return any money for that project. In addition to the base grant money, we also have monies, $1 million that was allocated from the Kansas Department of Transportation for stormwater related improvements on this project. And so we have $4 million in total, but of that, about $2.5 million roughly allocated to this project, specifically from the base grant, and then the remainder is allocated to the Costa Creek, although it's not necessarily 50-50 split. But the point is, we have a chunk of grant dollars that have been allocated to the Central Avenue project, as well as the Costa Creek project, that makes it pretty important for us to figure out how to finance both of those projects. We are anticipating the Consecrate project to come in higher than it was originally proposed as well. We've been talking to contractors to kind of figure out what those costs look like based on our response to the Central Avenue project. And so we're kind of factoring in the fact that there might be an increase with that one as well. So we'll be bringing that information to you very soon, as quick as we can, hopefully get these costs under control. And I think, for now, I think that's all I have.
Thank you.
Any questions?
If there's no other business, I'd consider a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thanks, everybody.